Welcome to an edition of GW Unspoken. We have a special guest with us today. Please introduce yourself, my special guest.
Oh, I am Amy, and I am lucky enough to work with Mr. Woodford.
Cat out of the bag. This is going to be censored now. Let's check in at the moment. Check in out of 5. How are you feeling right now?
Probably a 4.
Probably a 4, right? And today, what's something that comes to your mind straight away that you may be grateful for?
My gym.
Gym, and you just joined the gym again, haven't you?
Like 3 months ago.
Tell us a bit about that.
Decided to get my act together. So three months. If you ask my PT, it's 5 months because he doesn't know how to tell the calendar year. But probably about 3 months now of gym 3 or 4 times a week.
Beautiful. Are you finding you're more tired or got more energy doing the gym?
I've got more energy and it's really counterintuitive.
That's crazy.
I got up at 5 o'clock on Monday morning to go to the gym. And then when I did a full day of work, I'm like, this is great. I'm bouncing around the house in the afternoon. My husband's like, what is wrong with you?
Turn into a gym junkie. Love it. All right, a couple of quick personal questions. Tell us something that really ticks you off about people.
When they talk over the top of you all the time.
Okay. Give me a quality that you actually admire in people then.
Truthfulness.
Okay. Truthful and honesty? Okay. All right, let's get into some personal details now. You come in as a special guest. We're glad you're here, so thanks for coming in. Tell us a bit about your teaching career.
6 years a teacher now, mostly math based, a little bit of science. Not a fan of teaching science, would rather never go back to that. But have spent the last couple of years in a leadership role at the school, actually working with kids and working with families.
And whereabouts have you taught before?
Did a couple of years up in Cairns, and I've done a year in a state system, a year in a Catholic system, and then the rest of it's been Catholic.
Okay.
Would never go back to state.
I was going to say the next question here was the best place you've taught thus far and why?
St Mary's Catholic College up in Cairns because of the people that were there. It wasn't the best school, but it was the people that were there genuinely loved what they were doing. And like we did drunken Christmas carols at the end of the year.
With the kids, like in class time?
With all the teachers, I know, right? Like literally jumped on the school bus and went around to staff members' houses
awesome.
at the end of the year and had very intoxicated staff members singing Christmas carols. And the more houses they went to, the drunker they got and the worse the Christmas carols got. So it was just that sense of community that they had there that made it just a top school.
100%. I remember doing that at West too, and we had like a progressive supper. You provide the food from that country and also alcohol. So after the first one I had vodka, it was like we were gone from the start. I think we finished off at our house with like Aussie, we had barbecue and beers and everyone was spewing in the garden by then. So anyway.
That I was up there, they had to hold the switch for the lights on the bus. So someone actually had to sit in the stairwell and hold the cable together so that the lights would work so they could go. I don't know how they didn't get pulled over.
That's gold. Okay, 6 years. I'm going to put you on the spot. Like you don't know any of the questions I've asked you today. So take your time if you need to answer these. What's been your biggest learning curve as an educator?
Behaviour management.
Okay. Yep. And here's one we've got to try and keep PG. Any funny stories that stand out? Can be staff or students.
My brain immediately goes to a colleague last year showing up to year 12 formal in pretty much the exact same outfit as one of the kids. Had no prior warning at all, and I just laughed the entire night.
That's I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you find now in teaching?
Workload and parent communication.
Okay. If you knew what you know now back when you started, would you still be a teacher?
I think the difficult thing is I don't know what else I'd do. And I've looked at other things, especially over the last couple of years, but I can't think of another job that I would do that would give me the same amount of value as being a teacher.
So is that what made you be a teacher? Or what was the inspirational thing that goes, yep, I'm going to be a teacher?
When I was in year 7, 8 and 9, I was horrible at math. I was lowest level math. I sat out in the corridor playing with a Rubik's Cube because I didn't want to do it. And then when I got to year 10, I didn't really know what I wanted to do after year 12, but everyone's starting to have those big, you've got to have your life sorted out questions. And so I decided I'd go through and do an IT degree and then just go find a job somewhere. They were always looking for people working in IT. So I got a tutor who started helping me with my math, and it just clicked for me.
Yeah.
So the deal was that because I'd been tutored through the school, that I would then the following year give back and do it. And I ended up in a couple of year 7 and 8 classes, like helping the whole class while the teacher was away. And I just went home one day and was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. And I've looked elsewhere, but I've never looked back.
Yeah. All right, here's a difficult one for you. Maybe it's not. How can the education system improve?
I think that the less is more sort of thing is what comes to mind. I think at the moment we are trying to ask kids and parents and educators and school systems and principals to do too much within the classroom and tick too many boxes and achieve too many things, where I think if we could dial back on some of that stuff, they'd have a greater opportunity to do better in some areas. And then you could build them back up after that. But I think there's been such a culture of we've got to do this and we've got to do this and we've got to do this, that it's just wearing on everyone.
Yeah, okay. And so in your career so far, like it's progressing really well. Have you noticed a big difference from, I know you're different locations, so maybe it's hard to answer this question, but have you noticed a big difference between when you first started teaching to now, curriculum-wise, student behaviour-wise, staff morale-wise? What have you noticed over the last 6 or so years?
The behaviour, not so much, because I guess like the school that I started up in Cairns had the highest suspension rate in the whole school. So we had a lot more violent behaviours and stuff like that. And then the school, and that was my first year of teaching. The school that I went to my second year of teaching, there was one physical incident the whole year, and they had like counsellors come in to talk to the staff because it was such an unheard of thing. So the behaviour thing for me is just, it depends on the school and it depends on the processes in place. But I think the big thing that I've noticed change even in the last 6 years, and I guess I kind of had COVID to blame for this one, is the parent interaction and the parent communication has been the big thing for me.
So what's changed? What's changed with the parents? Less contact, more. Are they more sort of enabling their children these days, do you think? Like, what was there?
Yeah, I think less contact from some of them and burying their heads in the sand a little bit, just saying if I don't engage with it, then it can't be true. And then also the entitlement of, well, it was fine when we were doing it sort of thing. What are you guys doing wrong? And it's always that if the kid has done something wrong, something not great, then it's pushed back on the teachers and the school system saying, well, you guys are doing something wrong. That's the big thing that I've noticed that's changed even in the last 5 years.
So can we fix that? And how do we fix that? Like, how can we do that if it's the parent voice against the teachers?
I think as a society, it's got to be that respect for teachers. That was something that killed me during COVID, was that lack of respect for what we were doing in the classrooms and the work that we were still putting in. And I think that the way that was portrayed in the media very much gave parents and families that entitlement, because it was, well, they're not doing anything, so of course this is how we're going to act. So I think that in order for that to change, it's got to start with actually people understanding what our job is, and that we can't respond to an email 2 hours after you send it because we've been on 5 hours worth of class that day. So I think that understanding what the job is and then being able to actually get some more of that positive publicity out there. I think that's the only hope, and I don't know if that's actually makes it fixable, but I think that's a start.
I think what you said was really important about how they don't actually understand the roles. I remember even having a parent-teacher interview recently, and a couple of parents, which we can't name names, obviously said, when we're talking about their career pathways, their year 10s even, they're saying, what are you going to do, in 2 years' time, we're going to study. And some of the answers were, well, they'll just go to drama school, but, they'll at least always fall back on teaching. And I was like, whoa, I can't believe that you think that's a fallback career or
and I think
job option.
That's not just Australia. I think I look at a lot of the media coming out of the US as well, and the fact that they're going through such a terrible teacher shortage as well, to the point where they are allowing people to become teachers that have a Year 12 certificate, and that's your only qualification to become a teacher. So there's no respect for what we do, and that's like early career teachers and early childhood teachers, are seen as babysitters. They've got to do a 4-year degree as much as a primary school teacher and a secondary school teacher does. So there's not that understanding of the work that we put into it. We choose to go into this profession. We don't just kind of fall back on it. And in a lot of cases, I think in secondary as well, we've got the majority of our teachers, it is not their first pathway. They've gone and done something else, and then they've come back to this. So they're choosing to come into teaching when they've got other options, but it's seen more as a falling back on teaching rather than actually choosing to go there.
And it's scary, isn't it? They think they can go straight from Year 12. Like, I don't know you and do university course, but I felt like it didn't really prepare much at all. Like maybe 2 or 3 subjects were really good.
Oh my God, nothing. I had 4 prac units, and I got really lucky where 2 of my prac units were back to back, so it was 8 weeks at the one school. And when I walked in, as is a lot of cases with math teachers now, there's not many math teachers out there. We have most of our teachers are teaching in out of area, or it's like their second or third teaching area. But when I walked in, we had HSIE teachers and we had English teachers teaching math full time, because we'd had about 4 of the staff leave to get higher roles or system roles or something like that. And so I ended up being, as a prac student, the 3rd most qualified person in that staff room.
Yeah, wow.
So for me, that 8 weeks was, I ran excursions and I did parent-teacher interviews, and I became part of that community in that 8 weeks.
Good learning curve.
Yeah, it was an amazing learning curve, but I learnt more during that prac than I did in my whole uni degree. And I went back to that school as a relief teacher when I was about to graduate, and all of the teachers there didn't even realise I was still a uni student because I had just done everything while I was on prac there, that they were like, oh, you're actually a student. You're not a full-blown teacher yet. And I'm like, nope, not yet.
Sink or swim, unbelievable.
And that's the thing. When there's no other option, you have to just run with it. And I remember going to my mentor teacher, who had also become the head of department in 2 weeks and had 3 practical students under her at one time.
That's crazy.
Which is just insane.
How do you mentor 3 at once?
Exactly. And I kind of said to her, I need to teach this class. Like that teacher that's in there right now is teaching it wrong, and it's having an impact on these kids. And she just said to me, yep, show me your lesson plan. Show me that you actually know what you're going to do. And absolutely. And so then after a week or so of that, she was just like, do you know where you're up to? And I'm like, yep. And I was writing assessment and I was marking assessment, not stuff that a prac teacher should be doing, but that's where they were. They had no one else.
Yeah. Well done to you. So like I said, sink or swim, so obviously you came out the other end probably stronger for it.
Yeah.
All right, here's a good bit of an in-depth question. Where is Amy 5 years from now?
Oh, jeez.
So you'll be 45. So where were you? Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You'll be dead.
Correct. 5 years from now, what are you doing?
5 years from now, mid-30s. The desperate hope is I am a mum.
Yep.
That is the main goal at the moment. I'm career-wise at a bit of a crossroads between where I go if I continue in leadership or if I step back just into full-time teaching. I'm doing my master's at the moment, so I think in 5 years I should be nearly done, roughly done-ish. So I would like to see leadership in my future, but I think 5 years, Amy, the goal at the moment is a house of our own and kids.
Family first, love that. All right, his question could be twice as hard.
Oh, God.
Where is Amy in 10 years from now? Get it? 5 times there. Sorry.
10 years.
10-year goal.
Late 30s, jeez.
What are you? You're a Gen what?
I don't know.
Gen Z.
Gen Z, Gen Y.
Do you guys think 10 years ahead or not?
Do you think a year ahead?
No, it's not about me, so it's okay.
Okay, 10 years from now, well, look, hopefully the mum of 2 kids would be the goal.
Yep.
By 10 years' time, I think I'd like to be back in leadership in some way or another. But I also don't know. Like, that's the thing. The last couple of years has been really hard with family and with work and everything.
Yeah.
So as much as I'd like to be back in leadership, I don't feel like I'll be at the school that I'm at right now. I don't know if I'll be at the school that I'm at right now in 5 years' time, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I would like to see a change there. But I would say kids, a house,
Yeah.
which is such a big goal for people at the moment. Kids, house, masters done, back in leadership would be my idea.
Sounds awesome. Sounds good. How does Amy switch off?
If you asked Amy of 6 months ago, she'd probably say she didn't.
Yeah.
Amy of now is gym has become a really good switch off for me. I have an awesome PT who's just as annoying as you.
Good bloke. Sounds like a good bloke.
And starting to go into work a little bit later in the morning and just trying to hit the brakes a little bit on that is starting to help with the switch off a bit.
Yeah, nice. Sounds like a good balance there.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to make things a little light-hearted now since you've got the deep and meaningful done. It's really good to hear some of those answers, actually. Learn a bit about you tonight, which is great. And I'm sure some of our listeners love to hear too from a teacher's perspective. This has got a word association. You're allowed 1 or maybe up to 5 words that goes with these words.
5 words.
Okay, up to you. I'll let you say 1. All right? You ready for this? As fast as you can answer this. Here we go. Chocolate.
Yummy.
Whiskey.
Don't drink anymore.
Lollies.
Sugary, sweet. Bleh.
Weekends.
Unwind, walking, cleaning up.
Monday morning's alarm going off.
Going to PT. 5:30 a.m. gym sessions. My alarm goes off. I'm on my way to PT.
Yeah, perfect. Puppy dogs.
Probably laying on my bed right now, putting dog hair everywhere.
Coffee.
Could not live without it. I'm breaking the word limit, but whatever.
Year 9 students. Keep it G.
I don't teach Year 9 this year, so frustrating and tumultuous.
That's a big word. I have to look that up later. Sport days.
Tiring.
Advice for any teachers about to graduate and start the profession. This can be more than one answer.
Do I get more than 5 words?
You do. What you know now.
Set boundaries and stick to your boundaries. And keep a box of all of the Christmas cards and the notes and I do Year 11 retreat every year and we do affirmations on that. So all of that positive stuff, keep a box and open that box on the hard days or right before you go back to school. That's my why, some of the stuff in that box.
I like that. And you're a relatively young teacher, but advice for older teachers who are stuck in the profession.
Get out. Love
it. Amy now has $2 million deposited in her account later on tonight. What is she doing with the money?
Buying a house.
Okay. Can you expand on that? Where is it?
Where is it? Actually, building a house on my block of land that I currently own and am paying a mortgage on. But building something that is my own so that as much as I love my mother-in-law, I can stop living with her.
Fair enough. Okay, now you're down to your last $10. What are you doing with it? How are you spending it?
Am I getting any more money ever? Or is this
This is it. This is $10. This is all you left.
I'm not doing anything with it. I'm sitting on it.
What do you mean you're going to buy anything?
No, I'm just going to sit on it.
When you just buy a $10 scratchy and see what happens?
I'd buy a $10 scratchy and get my husband to scratch it because he's got...
That's his fault.
He's got the lucky gene.
That's he.
He's got the lucky gene. Every time a lotto ticket or a scratchy or something wins, it's because he's bought it or scratched it. Honestly, if I had to buy something, it would probably be like a proper cup of coffee. Because $10 is not a lot anymore, so I'd get 1 cup.
I like it. A big one. Okay, last question. You're going on a cruise for 7 days and you can take anyone with you, between 3 and 5 people, who are you taking and why?
My husband, because I think I have to. Like, I feel like he would probably...
He's outside this door. We'll have to censor this later on, yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably be a bit upset if I didn't take him. So my husband, my mum, because I get along with her really well and she needs a break. My best friend from down in Canberra, because I miss her. She count as one person if she brings her 3 months old with her.
No, I don't count that.
Good, excellent. So her and her baby, because her baby is adorable. Because I miss her and she's just someone that I can sit on the couch with and do nothing and still feel like it's time well spent. Was it 3 and 5 people?
Between 3 and 5. You got one more left. Yeah, 2 more left. 1.5. You count the baby. You can't take fur babies. They don't count. Would you take someone like a Richard Branson or something like that, or not?
My dog would destroy a cruise ship. He'd get thrown over.
Yeah, you wouldn't make the island. That'd be no good.
Those 3. Oh, anyone in the world, not just someone that I know.
Anyone in the world.
Oh man, that's a bit more interesting now. I don't know. I could have.
Those people are interesting. They're important people.
Back and redone my 5. Oh, now I've got too many options.
That's a good question, isn't it?
No, you've made this really hard. I'd want to take someone I could talk to, and not you. 5 minutes. With
I'm
you
good
and
at listening.
No, you talk too much. I'd want to take the one person that comes to mind is she does a TED talk, Rita Pearson. She does every kid needs a champion.
Yeah.
Even just for if she could come on for one day and just talk to her and then she could go away for the rest of the
sharks
time. Yeah, exactly. Just tend to boat her off it for a couple of days.
I'm done. See ya. Trade.
Someone I can have a really good chat with. That's probably it.
That's pretty good, though.
They're my top 3 people.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you for your time to come on here. And obviously you're well respected by your peers and also the kids. They're lucky to have you in the pastoral position you're in, but also in front of you in class. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow and giving you a hard time since it's a late night and usually ADHD will kick in. So after coffee tomorrow you might be in a bit of trouble. But
I just really hope you get more than 2 hours sleep tonight.
We'll see what happens. It's not about me. Appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in to GW Unspoken.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.